Footy's back. G'day, I'm James Clement. Wait, no, I'm not the former two-time Collingwood best and fairest, nor am I James Clements, the usual host here of the AFL Today Show. I am Alex Donnelly, stepping in for corporate Jim while he's on holiday up in Noosa, probably getting sunburnt because he is a redhead and, you know, he has fair skin. Anyway, welcome to the AFL Today Show. We're here to make footy fun. It's the greatest game in the world, and that's what we're here to do. Have a great time. Joining me, it's a different crew today. I don't know how to feel. Like, Jim's away, so Stats guy's like, I don't know what to do without my dad, so he's not here either. I'm joined, well, Leo's usually on the Thursday show, so Leo's over here. How are we feeling, Leo?
I'm feeling pretty good. I'm pumped up that we've got a debutant in today.
Yes, come on.
Let's go. Get around it. We needed to do like those debutant videos.
One of our very own. He's been in this office for, it feels like 18 months. Feels about right. Recently became a full-timer. Got a job upgrade recently as well. He is a long-time suffering Arsenal fan. Not Arsenal fan, Essendon. I was thinking Chelsea and Arsenal. I've gone off track there, but he is an Essendon fan. It is Marcus Bazzano, right as Essendon just career into the ether of life.
Yeah, look, I'm missing the drug saga days right about now. So,
jeez,
look,
that's how dire
you brought me
it is.
on at the right time of the season, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. Anyway, subscribe to our YouTube channel, please. Follow AFL Today on the socials and get around this wherever you get a podcast. So give us a 5-star review, leave us a rating, give us a comment that you missed Stats Guy, you missed Jim. He'll be back, not in a good mood. Carlton have lost their last couple. He'd be a bit flat right now, but can you smell it? Footy's back. Let's get in the news. Scott Pendlebury, you may have heard of him. He plays game 400 on Saturday night. Joins Brent Boomer Harvey, Michael Tuck, Silk Burgoyne, Kevin Bartlett, and Dustin Fletcher in the 400 club. Leo, read out the honour roll.
Well, I think Marcus has the honour roll. We've called upon Marcus.
Yeah, we've got 2-time premiership player, 2010, 2013, 6-time All-Australian.
You said 13, 23 you mean?
23.
Yep.
23. 5-time Collingwood best and fairest winner, 6-time All-Australian, 3-time Anzac Day medal winner.
It's not a bad CV.
And 1 bounce on a pigeon.
One bounce on a pigeon. Who can forget that bounce on a pigeon?
All right, quick question. Does he go down as the greatest pie ever? And if not, who is it?
I think he would.
Yeah, probably recency bias being young, but he's probably number one, isn't he?
Yeah.
If Bucks had a premiership, is it just him and Pendlebury clear second?
Yeah,
because Bucks
has two, though.
Yeah, but Bucks is a Norm Smith medalist, a Brownlow medalist.
Yeah.
He is a Norm Smith medalist as well, Pendlebury.
Okay, you didn't mention that.
2010 replay grand
That
final.
still counts.
Does
That
count?
That counts. Okay.
I still think it's Pendlebury.
On that, he has to go ahead of Bucks. I think if Bucks has the premiership with the Brownlow, it goes down as him.
Yep.
You guys are a bit too young, but Bucks in his heyday in the early 2000s, mwah, what a man.
I can't think of
anyone else.
No, there's
Collingwood
not.
Coventry, Nick Maxwell.
Like, you've got Gordon Coventry back in the day, but anyone could kick 1,500 goals back in the day, apparently.
I could.
Yeah.
So,
easy.
Stats guy couldn't. Anyway, let's keep going. AFL Broadcast 2025. This was just in the news today. We know that's happening with Fox broadcasting all the games themselves independently.
Yep.
But the important thing to note here is, so for the first 8 to 10 weeks of the AFL season in 2025, you can only watch football on Saturday on Fox Footy. So you need Foxtel or KO to watch that.
Yeah.
The important question out of this is, do you think they're going to address the overlap issue?
Probably not. Let's be honest, probably not.
Yeah. Probably not. It doesn't affect me too much, thankfully.
Kills me.
But I'm talking like the broadcast on Fox.
So we have, Channel 7 owns, well, not owns, but will have Thursday night for the first 15 rounds at a minimum, Friday night and the Sunday slot, but they also have marquee Saturday night slots, so like Dream Time. Okay. If Anzac Day happens to be on a Saturday night, that they still have those slots.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So how are we looking forward to this where for the first time ever, viewers will have a choice on what they want to watch?
Yeah, look, again, I think it's there's going to be overlap, isn't there? If there's a choice on what they want to watch.
But this is more, I'm talking on a Thursday and a Friday night, and you get a choice of which broadcast to watch. It's the first time ever, so that's going to be very interesting to see.
Look, I don't think it's going to be very good for the blue-collar people. I don't think they'll be very happy about it not being on Channel 7, especially a Saturday game when you've got 5 games of footy, typically, but it'll be 4, you'd assume, with Thursday night footy coming in for a long time at the start of the season.
Yeah, well, Fox are trying to own that. That's why they've paid, I think it's like $1 billion to get this Saturday themselves. So that's going to be, and it's also going to be interesting to see what all the callers, like the lineup of callers. They're going to have to bring
Yeah.
in more people because they don't have enough because obviously a lot of callers here overlap with radio and TV.
Well, I'm sick of hearing BT and Jimmy Brayshaw.
See, they're good on radio, terrible on TV.
Yeah. It
Because
might
they actually
mean,
can actually put in a bit of personality on radio.
Yeah.
It might mean Matt Hill gets more of a gig for
That he won't do Saturdays though. Races.
could do a night.
Well, he won't do Thursday night. I think he does SEN, so he might be a Friday night, Sunday type of setup, which would be great. Anyway, Big Kahuna, aka Dick Cyclone, aka Josh Tracy.
Where's the nickname Dick Cyclone come
So
from?
Cyclone Tracy, and then I don't know why the name. I think it's something I can't even remember. I heard it on Perth radio show.
I did.
Someone's seen him in the shower.
I did.
No, it's not that.
I did see someone comment that Tracy's Dick Cyclone on one of our videos, and I was like, "What is this guy on?" But
Yeah.
must be a thing. Yeah.
Yeah, might have some because Big Kahuna. I don't know if it has something to do with that, but yeah, Dick Cyclone because it's Cyclone Tracy. And I don't know about the other part. Anyway, we've got to stop saying that. I'm going to get killed. He's re-signed a contract, 2030.
Yeah.
It's a pretty big. He'll only be 28 by then too.
Okay, so not a
Prime.
docker for life then.
No, so he'll be coming into free agency going, "Give me that money."
How good is, you mentioned this before the show, Josh Tracy and Jaya Miss in the future.
That is
They're
an
going to be a
awesome
deadly
partnership.
partnership.
They're building something
they
special
need-
for you.
They need Josh Tracy. Without him, you take him out of there. I reckon that's not that good for them.
Look, I think Freo could well and truly be flag winners in the next 5 years.
I think they're cooking. If they can get Shai Bolton and or Baker,
And or Chad Warner.
that could be the missing piece. I feel like they got young players now with Amos and Tracy, but also in the midfield and the back line.
Yep.
They're just low key, just cooking. No one really talks about them, but we're talking up Flagmantle
It's Flagmantle. We
It's
should get that
Flagmantle.
right.
Mantle.
by their real name, Flagmantle.
And finally, AFL have confirmed the grand final time. It's as we expected. It's as it should be. It is 2:30.
Yep.
How do we feel, lads? 2:30 grand final. We good?
Yeah, I'm happy with that.
Traditionalist.
Love
Yep.
it.
The only one I wanted, if it ever changes, it better not be a night grand final.
Yep.
I want a 4:40.
Yeah, I'm
An
fine
evening,
with that.
Yeah.
Just having my most favorite game that I've ever watched and been to was the qualifying final in 2022.
Oh,
Geelong
yeah,
and
I was at that
Collingwood.
too,
It was
yeah.
a 4:40 kickoff. The sun was going down. It
was
was
that the
It was they won. They came
the
back
Max
and won by
Holmes
2
goal.
goals.
yeah, the Max Holmes goal
was Gary
running
Rowan
into the
mark.
open square.
Yeah.
yeah.
The
Gotcha.
Gary Rowan mark. But yeah, it's my most favorite game that I've been to.
Yeah, I'd be in support of a Twilight Grand Final, but I can't argue with 2:30 either.
no, I
Like,
can't.
I'm happy with either.
Yep. All right, let's get into some game previews. Friday night, there's a double header. So I'm just going to get this out of the way early. I hate it. I hate everything about it.
Awful.
But Friday night footy starts at 7:15 at Marvel Stadium as the Western Bulldogs minus 22.5 take on the Melbourne Demons with the over-under of 172.5. The Dogs' offense has been firing the last month or so. They're fourth overall, 92 points. Their defense allowing in 77. They're fourth and fourth overall in both, which that means they're in the premiership window against top 6 in
But
both.
what about their pressure gauge? What is that at?
277,432.
I think that's broken the gauge.
Yeah. The D's, they're not going great. Their offense, as we've said for the last 18 months, 79 points, they're 14th. And in defense, they're still strong, 78 points there in 6th. Now, the Dogs smashed Sydney last week, but they didn't kick away. So you can contain the Dogs with a strong defensive unit here, which is, Jakey Lever and Stephen May.
Yeah, look, 5-day break too for the Dogs.
And they threw everything at the Swans as well. So you got to add in travel.
That's why I think D's are a sneaky chance in this one because, 5-day break. Dogs, so they've won 3 in a row against great opposition, but the Dogs of the past are just in the back of my head going, we'll just normally drop the odd game that we're meant to win. So this could be it.
They went to Sydney and smashed the Swans. I'm a believer now, and this is me.
This is you. You hate the Dogs.
I hate them.
I think if this was at the G, it would be a little bit more different.
Yep.
But I think the Dogs have got this covered easily.
So
Down
for
at
some,
Marvel.
Yeah. So for some changes, Dogs, no changes whatsoever. Why would they? For
Yep.
the D's, in come Blake Howes, Tommy Sparrow, and Tholstrup.
What a name.
Out go Caleb Windsor, who's got a systemosis issue. Jack Billings, who's been one of the worst trades all season. And Laurie's been omitted.
Adam Trelaw's 250th.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah,
Yep.
that'll like,
He'll have 250 touches to celebrate.
how many meters gained?
Get him in
though?
SuperCoach.
215 metres gained. Don't start me on that. Anyway, so Melbourne have lost their last 5 away matches, but they've beaten the Dogs 40 plus in their last 2. Of note, they have been at the MCG. One was earlier this season, and the other one was round 1 or 2 last year, I reckon.
Yeah.
And Jamara, though, he's the number 1 forward in the competition right now as far as form.
Yeah, is he the most informed player in the comp, Jamara?
Forward.
Just forward,
Yeah, I'm going forward. I'd have to
There
sit down
isn't-
and think about the comp.
There is a case for him, though, in the comp.
I think
Yeah.
so too,
Yeah.
yeah.
He's kicked 4 straight. 4 straight in his last 3, not 4 straight goals, but 4 on the bounce. So answer the big question, gents. Are the Western Bulldogs consistent?
Define consistent.
Well, they've won 3 in a row. They've knocked off Carlton, Geelong and Sydney, who are 1, 2 and 3 when they've knocked them
That's
off.
pretty consistent.
Well, in the past 3 weeks, the past month, you'd have to say they're consistent.
They got smashed by Port Adelaide by about 1,000 points 4
But
weeks
any
ago.
club with Luke Beveridge in charge, you got to question them.
Yep.
Yeah,
You do.
That's just the one thing at the back of my head.
Is it
going,
if they come out and just absolutely smoke the D's here, you're like, okay, like, yeah, we saw them beat Sydney and Geelong, which we know they can do, but this, again,
Like,
this is the
yeah.
game they drop.
Is it just a Rory Lobb, Jamara Iglehagen purple patch?
Yeah, I think it's a
that's
Rory
spurring
Lobb
them on?
purple patch. I think Jamara, it's a coming of age.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree.
All right, tips.
I think Dogs by 2 goals. I think the key for this one will be the Dogs start. Because of that 5-day break, they're going to have very heavy legs at the end of it. So if they start well, which I think they
Mate,
will.
they got the job for 3 quarters last week. They should be fine.
Oh, still coming back from Sydney, 5-day break. They got to jump the Ds. I think they will. Ds will bring it back a bit, but Dogs will do enough.
I think the Dogs comfortably by 39 points.
Yeah, nice.
I'll be turning this one off at halftime as the Western Bulldogs will win this by 63 points.
63.
They're just going to come out, absolutely jump them. That win last week was awesome. And I think the D's, through everything they had late there, didn't land the knockout punch. I think they're in trouble.
I think the D's will struggle to kick 70 points.
Oh, yeah.
that's
That's
fair.
the D's from the whole year. All right, let's get to the other game on Friday night. This kicks off at 8:30 at the stadium. Over under 168.5 as the West Coast Eagles host Gold Coast minus 13.5 point favourites. On offense, West Coast have only kicked about 67 points all season. And on defense, they're allowing about 100 in a game. They're 17th and 16th ranked in both. Gold Coast, they're 11th in both. 83 points for, 83 points against. The last time Gold Coast won a game away from home was in this game last year, which was also a double up Friday night. Now for the changes. West Coast. Just give me time here. In comes Alex Witherden, Liam Duggan, Jeremy McGovern, Johnson, Howe, and Dewar. Out goes Tom Barras with concussion, aka I met Sam Mitchell. Rotham abdominal, Edwards concussion. Petrocelli got suspended. Jai Cully admitted, and Jack Hutchinson suspended. Gold Coast. In come Fiorini, Alex Sexton for your SuperCoach players. Ned Moyle admitted, and Barry has been admitted. No Jed Walter.
Interesting.
How are we feeling?
I don't know how to feel. There's so many changes for West Coast. I feel like they're just throwing stuff at the stumps and seeing what sticks, to be
They
honest.
haven't got a coach, so...
Yeah.
And to be fair, they kind of had to make a lot of changes after the big brawl.
In fairness, there's a few injuries here, like concussion, abdominal,
Yeah,
concussion, suspension, dropped, suspension.
Yeah, Edwards, Rotham, and Barras all injured.
Apart from McGovern, none of the ins are really like...
Alex Witherden and Duggan are good.
Duggan, Witherden's a bit too outside for my liking.
So is this the game where West Coast really pumped themselves up after it and there's like, this is the last game we think we can win all season?
I think so. This is
They'll
more of a
pump
pride
themselves
game.
up, but I don't think they're going to win it. I just can't. You can't tip them, can you?
But West Coast Gold Coast haven't won away for over 12 months. 15 straight away matches they've lost. And here's a stat. Stats guy didn't do it. I'm going to beat you to it. What the result is at halftime this season for Gold Coast has been the result at the end of the game. So if they're winning at halftime, they'll win. If they're behind, they're done.
Interesting.
How's that for a stats
pretty
guy?
good. Yeah, you should have put that in. Piss poor stats guy.
I think no matter when you play the Eagles, no matter what sort of club status that they're in, anytime you play them at Optus Stadium, it's always going to be a tricky game. I think
This year,
Gold
yes,
Coast beat them
not
like
recent
100
years.
last year.
I think that's what's to be seen. Even Fremantle last week, they pushed away,
Derby's
they kicked
different.
away.
Derby's different.
Derby's different. Look, I actually fancy the Eagles in this one. I know the
Really?
Suns' parallel record.
Oh, the 20th. We got to mention the 28th
should we get
parallel.
into
That's
that?
the big question.
Yeah.
Will the 28th parallel live away from home for Gold Coast or can it be defeated?
I think it's dead. I think last week killed it.
So that means they're going to win.
Yeah, I think they're going to win.
I think they'll win this by 10 goals.
Yeah, I think the parallel's gone, unfortunately.
Oh, I'm going to back the Eagles. Big call. We'll get to one of the big calls later about one of the plays in the game.
Yeah.
But I'll go the Eagles just based off my big call.
Leo, what are you tipping?
I think, well, you've put Eagles under my name. That's actually thrown me off a bit. But
Yeah.
Suns will win by about 3 goals, I think.
Okay. Easy. Moving on. Saturday, early game, 1:45 at Marvel Stadium. Stats guy will be there, swinging his singlet around
he's
for
got
sure.
footy.
What a fake fan. North Melbourne, minus 6.5 point favourites. Yes, North Melbourne are favourites as they host the Richmond Tigers. The over-under is 176.5. Offense for North. Stats guys hasn't put in the Richmond stuff here. North are kicking 70 points a game and allowing in 108. They are the second worst offense and the worst defense in the comp. Richmond, ever since Dimmer said this place sucks, haven't won at Marvel.
Yep.
There's 0-5-1 at Marvel in the last 3 seasons. And the Cheezel, he's probably the most informed player in the comp.
Yeah, that's a good
35 touches in 3 of his last 4 games. For teams, let's get the teams up here as they've just come through. He won't play. In comes Dustin Martin, Nank, Jack Graham. Out goes Ryan, Dow, and Smith for a personal reason. For North Melbourne, Toby Pink, McKercher, Eddie Ford. Out goes Logue, injured. Oh, that's not great. Wardlaw, concussion. That's his 2nd one this year. And Liam Shields are managed. Jesus, Richmond are throwing everything at us with Dusty and Nate coming in.
It's a few big ins for Richmond. It's like they're going for finals or something.
It's like, hey, this is our last chance. Why don't you just get the number 1 draft pick, Richmond? You're in the box seat.
Look, well, we talked about this before, but they could do a North Melbourne on the last game of the season. Richmond play Gold Coast at the
home,
G.
and they could bump up. Yep.
And they can bump up and blow the number 1 pick. But this is sort of a number 1 pick.
In fairness, there's no Harley Reid this year. This looks a very even draft, which is fine. So anyway, the big question is, will either of these teams win the wooden spoon? The answer is yes. It's going to be Richmond.
I think so too.
I believe so.
Yeah. Do we have anything that we want to talk about in this game? This is one of those, like, it's the early game and there's nothing. This is the only game on.
Yeah.
What about a crowd guess here?
Well, I'm going. I'm going to get amongst it. I'm going to be amongst the North fans, and I reckon there'll be 26,000.
Yeah, I'll go 30.
Yeah.
23.
30. North Melbourne fans.
North fans actually do show up.
They don't see many wins.
Yeah. And, they still show up.
It'll be 23.
23.
23. So let's get to the tips. I'm going North Melbourne by 4 goals. I think they've been playing, apart from the Swans game, they were due for a flat one there. They've played good footy. 40 points did not show how well they played last week.
I completely agree with that. I thought the difference in that game last week was Tom Stewart, and I think in this one they'll win by 6 points. They'll clearly be the better team, but because they're so young, they won't be able to put Richmond away. I don't think.
Could this just be a game where Suva kicks 9?
I hope so.
Because like Richmond's defense is Noah Bolter if it's a good day, or Vlosten.
I actually hope Comben kicks it back because he looks really promising.
He's playing, which is good.
Yeah. Look, I'm going to go North by a few kicks. I think they've been very good, but there's some big ins for Richmond, which I think will make it a bit tricky.
It's still Richmond at Marvel.
At Marvel,
They stink.
The ins are good, but Dusty hasn't had a great year. Nank's been pretty good, but Graham hasn't had a great year either.
Will Dusty get subbed off?
Probably.
No.
I'm going yes, because he's quite quitting. I'm standing by that.
He could, you know.
So North Melbourne, a clean sweep there by the boys. Let's go down to Taxpayer Park at GMHBA Stadium. Hopefully it's fixed up after the mud bowl it was a few weeks ago. 4:35 p.m. They host the Radelaide Crows. In for Geelong comes Reece Stanley, Zach Toohey. Out goes Duncan, who's been managed. Closey has been omitted for the Crows after they got whipped last week. Bollays admitted. Elliot Himmelberg, I'm shocked he wasn't dropped before this. He's out. Cook admitted. Jones, personal reasons. So that means Dan Curtin stays. That's good.
That's good. Hope he's not the sub.
Some decent ins here. Murray, Crouch, Dawson, Worrell.
That's some pretty good ins.
Good ins for Adelaide. Might not make a difference. So
Probably
the offense and defense here with the Geelong being just on 3-goal favourites. Over-unders 172.5. Geelong, for all them just average form this year, they're 91.8 points on offense and they're letting in 84.2. Adelaide, so strikingly similar, 82.2 and 82.1 points.
Yeah, look, I think this will be a pretty big win for the Cats here.
Yep.
Yeah, I just think down there, and watching Adelaide last week, they were not impressive at all.
But it's not, the Cattery isn't a fortress anymore. Weird things have been happening there this year. GWS went there and won. Port went there and won. The Dogs went there and won.
Yeah, I don't know. Watching Adelaide last week, their biggest threat was when they got it inside 50, their tall targets, and Geelong's defensive structure is a lot better to stop that.
What have you got back there? You've got
Henry,
Stewart.
Zach Guthrey's been playing well. Lawson Humphries has been incredible.
And Tui's back in there. He's going to have about 40 off a half-back flank.
I just, that's the only way Adelaide could look like scoring is if Phil Thorpe was looking dangerous.
He's got to kick 6.
Yeah,
it's going to be the biggest blowout of the weekend, I think, this one.
Yeah, I agree with that one.
Yep, so Geelong have won the last 13 games against the Crows down in Geelong, and Fogg has kicked 2+ in 10 of his last 12. Are we at the point where we should just, for Tex for the last couple of games, either retire him, put him on ice, and let Fogg and Thorpe have a real crack at it?
Yeah, you probably just give him a farewell game at the end, right? Just to sort of see him off.
Maybe next
showdown. They got the showdown.
Yeah, imagine a showdown farewell game.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. All right, answer the big question. Can Dempsey lock up the rising star here? No, because he's not going to win it.
You're going to say Matty Roberts?
He's going to win it.
I won't know.
Who's your tip to win the rising star?
Wardlaw.
Wardlaw?
Yeah, I said
know he's
Dempsey
concussed,
in the midweek.
I think body of work throughout the season, Wardlaw's been better. You forget Dempsey had one kick 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. Wardlaw, though,
I do
equally, he's
fancy
had his
Dempsey.
off games. Yeah.
Yeah, but Dempsey's also, he's pumped up by being in the better team, whereas
that's true.
he's
That's
doing
true.
a lot of work inside midfield in a really bad team.
True.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, tips.
It's got to be Geelong.
Yeah.
Adelaide haven't won there since 2003,
Oh.
which is ridiculous. So I'm going to go
Funnily
Geelong
enough,
by
Scott
40.
Pendlebury hasn't played a game in Geelong in that long because he's never
Or
played
Tassie.
there.
Yeah.
Or Tassie.
Nor Tassie. I think I saw another thing. I'll find it in a sec.
Ridiculous. But I'm going to go
get to that
Geelong
next
by 45 points.
Oh,
Yeah, I think Cat's 61. I think this will be a smashing.
that's a whomping. I'm Geelong by 40-something points as well. Quickly as we go in for this next game, which is obviously Geelong and Collingwood and Carlton. Scott Pendlebury, about to play 400 games. Never played in Cardinia Park or in Tassie. He's also never played at Alice Springs, Cairns, Canberra, Ballarat or Darwin. Hashtag must be nice.
Yeah, it would be.
Anyway,
nice.
it's his game, 400th game as Collingwood host Carlton. The MCG, 7:30. There'll be 95,000 at the G. I won't be one of them, as I'll be trying to watch the Swans. Over-unders 168.5. Carlton are 2-goal favourites. Collingwood back into form with a win over Richmond last weekend. Carlton about to fall off the face of the earth. Offense, Collingwood 86.3 points. They've also allowed in 86.2. Carlton, they've been scoring all year. 98 points scored and 86 let in. They're the 14th ranked defense and the second best offense. Let's get to the teams. In comes Bo McCreary, Jordan De Goey, and Billy, the best premiership player ever, Frampton. Harrison, Sullivan, and Parker omitted. For Carlton, this is the big one. Boyd in. He's not the big one.
I was going to say,
I'm getting to it.
Boyd.
Building. Jack Martin in. Blakers in. Harry McFive in. Alco Cunningham with a shoulder. Cowan, Carroll, and Young all out. There's some big ins all around.
yeah, very big. DeGoey back. McCreary. I think
Bit of
McCreary's,
speed.
a little bit of a sneaky in terms of his pressure as well. A bit of a wrecking ball in that forward half. This is going to be a good game.
Oh, this is going to be great. You've also got you've got the traditional rivals. You've got Pendles 400, so it's going to be a great celebration. This is either you can look at this one of two ways. This is Collingwood. This is their last chance to make finals. Because if they lose, they're done.
Yep.
You got Pendles 400th. Let's go back. What was it 6 weeks ago? Dusty's 300th. Where they're playing Hawthorn, a team that we thought, on their day they could beat. They have the early moment, Dusty kicking the goal, and then the Hawks just went, nah, bang.
Yeah.
If Carlton can withstand the early onslaught and go in on level terms at quarter time, do we think they kick away or are they cooked? Because there is two ways you look at this game, that Carlton bounce back here and go, we don't care about this, or Collingwood for the occasion just go, we're back.
I just think with Carlton's defense, they can never truly put away a game. And as Jim and a few of us have said, they always play that great quarter and then they just play 3 ordinary quarters. So I think even if it is close and they withstand that early pressure, their defense is always going to keep them like in the contest, unfortunately.
Yep.
Yeah, I think they, as we saw last week, they're always one injury away, really, aren't they, Carlton? One big injury away.
But I think Akers coming in on the half forward line, just he adds a little bit more for them because he seems to link up well between even the halfback and centre blokes going forward. He's that real good link-up player.
Yeah.
I think he's a big in. Harry Mackay means they're not going to go everywhere for Charlie all the time. And as I said this time last year, Jack Martin is the most important player at Carlton because he can play tall and take a mark, but he's got the tactical nous to get front and centre. And he's
very good at the ground ball as well.
And the way Quaynor's going at the moment, he could give him an absolute bath.
And that's what something I think that Carlton are probably lacking to be genuine premiership contenders year after year is a small forward.
And Charlie Curnow's kicked 4+ goals in his last, I think it's like 4 or 5 games. No stats guys haven't written it down, but against Collingwood, he's got a really good record against the Pies. Carlton have also won 8 of their last 9 at the G. Is getting back to the G something for them too.
Yeah.
Yeah. After Collingwood suffered heartbreak on Carlton fans a few years ago at those finals, Carlton are going to be wanting to do the same.
The
with
Jamie
Collingwood this
Elliott
week.
goal in round 24, a couple or 23 a few years ago.
They're going to want to spoil the party. And I think Harry Mackay is such a big in because he's the one who takes those marks high half forward on the wing, whereas Charlie Curnow had to do that last week. And then he's got no one to kick long.
But that's where I think Charlie Curnow is the one that's better up the ground and swinging it into Harry McFive.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can just see like one step, low 60-metre dart.
And Harry's just out on the fat side, just in the hands. Yeah.
And he's probably the better kick at the moment, you'd say
So
as well.
you look at the forward lines. Carlton's forward line has got all the points in them. They've got goals, goals galore coming. I don't trust the Collingwood forward line to kick a big enough score to win. This is going to have to be someone like Weeders goes down, and then all of a sudden, I don't know. This is a Dan McStay kicking 5 night.
Yeah, he normally doesn't kick bags though, damn. So
That's
he kicks
what I mean.
2 or
Yeah.
3, yeah.
He needs to kick a bag. Billy Elliott needs
I think
to.
Lockie Schultz needs to lift.
He's been
He
horrendous.
really needs to lift.
This
in
is like a
game.
DeGoey 23-2. Like
Yeah.
I'm the most important player on the field game, but his body looks cooked.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see how he goes back,
Yep.
but yeah, not great.
Look, they're not in form at the moment, but you can't really ever write the Pies off in this traditional rivalry. It's that sort of game. Dacos kicked the winner.
Yeah.
What a
and they
goal
won
that
by a single
was.
kick
That
in
was
the
an
earlier in
awesome
the
goal.
year.
Yeah.
So
So that leads to the big question. If Carlton lose this, can they miss the finals?
I think they can, you know.
Really?
Well, if they lose this, which I think they will, they got Hawthorn, which doesn't look like
It's a 50-50 game
It's a
now.
50-50 game. They'll beat West Coast.
Yeah.
But I actually think they're a chance to lose to St Kilda in the last round.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
That's a stretch.
They can't. Yeah,
It's Carlton, though.
No, I don't
like-
think they can. They can't miss.
Talking
Like,
about teams possibly making finals, Gold Coast.
Gold Coast question mark?
they have to win out.
I think they will.
I think they had to beat Brisbane last week for me. But anyway,
Yeah.
that's not a question for this. Anyway, tips.
I think Pies win by 4. I think they lift for Pendles and they get it done.
I don't think so. I just don't think the form's good enough at the moment. The forward line. It's just whether they can kick a big enough score against a Carlton team that's destined to kick minimum 80 points throughout this
Yeah.
game. I don't think they can. So I'm going to go Carlton by 4 goals.
All right. So I'm going Carlton by a kick in a heart stopper that unfortunately I won't be able to see because at the same time I'll be watching the Port Adelaide Power take on my beloved Sydney Swans at the Adelaide Oval. If you're at the Rising Sun Hotel in South Melbourne on Saturday night, you owe me a beer because it's my birthday. The over-under is 169.5 here. Port, 5th offense in the league at 86.5. Their defense seems very poor, 9th, 81 points. The Swans, best offense in the league, bang on 100 points. The best defense, 72 points. So you have a look. The Swans got smashed last week, still didn't get blown out.
Yeah.
Their defense is good, is also why it's not in this, but Tom McCartan needs to be in consideration for an All-Australian kit this year because he's been the best defender in the best team, but because he's not flashy, you don't notice him.
Yeah, I think definitely squad, but
Yeah.
there's bigger names, isn't there, that McCartan always gets overlooked.
Port Adelaide, no changes, which means Todd Marshall is not back in this squad, which is very important. For the Swans, Cheeks! He's back! James Rowbottom, friend of the show, is back. Aaron Francis is in. Thankfully, the selectors got that right, picking him this week.
Yeah.
Lewis Melican out with a hamstring and Braden Campbell admitted. Still feel a tall short there, Sydney. Last week's sub is Luke Parker. $100 says it is Samuel Wicks or Corey Warner as the sub
Yeah,
this
that's
week.
a good call.
Luke Parker will not be the sub.
What if Francis is the sub?
No way. Because you've got
They've done that before, though.
They won't play him as the sub because it'll be he and McCartan as the key defenders because Melican's out with the injury. So that means that I reckon Francis goes to Dixon and McCartan goes to Georgiades.
Last week, Radigalia played forward.
Lizard.
He's a big boy, Radigalia.
Yeah,
He is a big
the run
boy.
and jump Lizard. Or you swing Joel Amati back there and just say jump at the ball, Joel.
Yeah, look, but you are probably right. Though.
But
They
also-
are one tall.
No, one tall short. So Asava is a forward. Geelong tried to figure that out. Never could. He was never a good enough forward. Then he was a defender. And now I've got 1 week forward. Like, oh, he's a forward. I just think he's a mid player.
I don't think he's a good player. I just think when he went forward last week, it worked. It worked against Carlton because they don't have the second key back, right? Like Wiedering was tied up with Dixon.
I don't know why they played Lewis Young in the forward line.
Yeah, they needed to move him back sooner, didn't they?
Yeah. So I won't be surprised if even like Logan McDonald plays at centre half back.
They did. You did that last week, didn't you?
I was calling for that during the game when the injury was. So I'll try and find the actual because they've got the squad list of how they actually line them up here. But so the Swans haven't beaten Port Adelaide since 2016. That's the biggest stat coming into this. We had the Ollie Florent kick after the siren last year that went into the wind. I'm still getting over that. Here, the Swans they've named McCartan and Fox in the back line. Francis is on the bench, but you expect that Logan McDonald also on the bench, so I wouldn't be shocked if Logan McDonald does line up at centre half back with that.
Yep.
I forgot to mention Port are half-point favourites because the market's like, Sydney, what are you doing?
Yeah, and it's at Adelaide Oval.
Swans have won their last 3 there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Swans
The Swans have lost 4 of their last 5.
Yep.
And look, they only scored 48 points last week against the Dogs. But Dogs are one of the form teams of the competition. But look, it's a bit worrying when everyone sort of questioned at the start of the season their tall forward line and whether they can back it up.
They're still the best offense in the comp.
They still are, but I think they're bolstered by scores of like 110 against Gold Coast at home, 138 against North at home.
Yeah, but you look at that, but but you have a look. I think that's last week was the first game the Swans have failed to score 90 points at home all season.
Yeah.
So it's consistent points. It's not like they've got 180 in there like they had a couple of years ago with the West Coast score. It's consistently good scoring. Like when they lost to Freo, it was 98 to 99. So they're still scoring high. And I think that's the highest, that and the Essendon game, the two highest scores they've let in all year. So their defense is really good. It's the midfield that needs to lift. It's the delivery into the forward line last week was disgusting. Like, Joel Amati takes a mark, rocks back, takes 10 seconds. Oh, what am I going to do? Pops it up, kicks it straight down Tim English's throat. It was the worst inside 50 I've seen ever.
I think the only thing with the Swans is I think if you're not getting 6 or 7 goals from the midfield like you normally do every week for the first half, 3/4 of the season from Heaney, Warner, Gordon even. Look, then you look into the forward line as whether they can deliver, and I think they can because I'm not very.
This Port Adelaide defense isn't great.
Tall defense.
Like you're looking at it, Zerk Thatcher back there. The Swans have towed up Essendon in recent years, so that's not really a worry there. Yep. And then you have a look at the sort of smaller fleet. You're like, okay, if Luke Parker goes forward, he plays taller than his height. Will Hayward is having a really good season. Hayden McLean can pop up and have a game. Yeah. Joel Amati loves the Adelaide Oval. So
it's really just Aaliyah, isn't it, as the sort of the main defender you have to get past? Because I know Kerner kicked 3 last week, but I think 2 were from frees that were 50-50. So Aaliyah was actually pretty strong.
And the Swans know what Aaliyah is all about, being a former Swan.
True, actually. I forgot about that.
If you're the Swans, so they haven't pulled out the tag in a while. I know we're spending a bit on this game, but this is first versus equal fourth. So it is a pretty big game. Do you send Taylor Adams to Zach Butters at the first bounce?
Oh, I'd send Rowbottom on him.
Our man Cheeks.
Yeah, Cheeks.
So Cheeks. And then does James Jordan tag Dan Houston?
Yes.
I think that's pretty... I think the Swans also, they've
mixed it up.
It was paralysis by analysis. They tried too many different things like, we've nailed this, and they got it completely wrong. Tag Dan Houston, stop your run. Tag Zach Butters and annoy him, because if Zach Butters isn't firing, and just let Heaney or Warner and Horn Francis run head to head, that'd be great. And Heaney and Rosie, let's go.
Warner and Horn Francis would be...
Who wins in a race?
Warner
would beat
Horn Francis is he's deceivingly quick.
Yeah, but
I think Warner
in the first 10 meters puts a gap.
Yeah.
And then you've got Grundy up against Sweet in the ruck. That should be fun. So this is a fascinating
I think
game.
Logan McDonald has to play in the forward line. I don't think you can float him back because otherwise you just get a Lear floating and taking intercepts.
So do you have or could you have Amati play a defensive?
I think so. I think you got to play both tools.
It depends where
Amati a defensive role on Aaliyah.
On Aaliyah.
Because they are both extremely athletic and can jump.
And then who's on Zerk Thatcher?
Hayden McLean, McDonald.
Yeah.
I think it actually depends how Port's forward set up and whether Radical is there. I know he's not a threat, but he is a big body.
Yeah.
I know. He's not a threat because
Harry Cunningham goes to Willie Rioli. That's set on.
Radicalu's got one of the worst ball drops, I think, in the competition. So I'm not ever worried about him in front of goal.
It's
you don't want him to take
game.
marks.
All things being equal, the Swans win this, right?
I think so.
I think so, just about.
Because were Port good last week or were Carlton terrible?
I didn't read too much into that.
I think it was a mix.
I thought both went impressive.
So I'm the Swans bouncing back into form. If they don't win this, I'm writing them off completely for the season. They can't win the flag if they lose this.
Well, I wouldn't go that far.
Nah.
There's no genuine content other than Sydney, who have been the top all year.
We've seen if all teams play their best footy, the Swans are going to win the grand final by 6 goals.
Yeah.
If they don't, probably the Dogs or Brisbane.
Yeah. Look, I think Sydney win this by 16 points. Yep. It is a must win. I don't know if they can't win the flag if they lose, but I would be very worried.
I think they just they also just need a win just to bounce back because next week is Collingwood at the SCG. And then it's Essendon at Marvel and Adelaide to finish off. They need this game because that will allow them the luxury of dropping one of the final 3 because they'll still finish first.
Yeah.
Anyway, too much Swans talk. I know, I'm sorry. I am a Swans fan, but that was too much. Sunday, 1:10 at Monica Oval, Canberra. GWS Giants -3.5 take on Hawk Ball. Over under 169.5. This is a great game. Yeah. 90 points on offense for the Giants, 80 on defense. Hawthorn bang on 84. 80 points in defense. GWS's record at Marvel is 3-8 since 2021, but I think they've won their last 3.
Yep.
Hawthorn have won 10 of their last 12. So we were laughing last year, in the middle of last year, GWS, stop playing in Canberra. Now they're winning. I remember them running open Brisbane like there was no tomorrow earlier in the season. I believe that was Anzac Day. It was awesome. GWS ins. These are extended benches. Grzycki, Stone, Keefe and Angwin. Jake Riccardi's injured. He's been playing terribly. For Hawks, in come Mackenzie, Sarong, Morrison, Gunston, and Finn McGuinness is being dropped, which seems weird against the Tsunami.
Yeah, interesting. He was playing as the sub, so maybe they just didn't see a role for him this week. I think there's some great games this round.
Yeah,
this being one of them.
You're the Hawk, man. Take us through it.
Yeah, look, I think this will be a very open game. Both teams love to run and carry. A lot of excitement on both sides of the ball.
Could we have a high-scoring game if we don't get a terrible Canberra day?
Yeah.
Are we clearing this over-under with absolute ease at 160?
If the weather's good, I think we're clearing the over-under.
This could be a cold, crisp day, but it's like 7 degrees, but the sun's out, and we're just flinging the footy either end.
14 degrees, no rain.
Yeah, I reckon it'll just hit the over. I don't know if it'll be like a complete high-scoring game because both defenses have lifted in recent times. I know they're both in the top 8 for defense, but
GWS didn't name Sam Taylor.
Yeah, he's full back.
Oh, they did.
He played last week.
I've had a stroke. I'm like, hold on.
I wish they didn't.
They said he was back with the gelled undies.
Yeah, he might have worn them on.
So that's why. That's why I've seen it. I didn't watch GWS last week.
Yeah, I really wish he wasn't back because he's an awesome player. But yeah, it's going to be fascinating this game.
Yeah, look, I think the Hawks got a little bit of an added bonus with Kelly and Cornelio just not being fit enough to play in the game.
True.
But this is the thing that we've said about GWS. When everyone's in, too many dudes.
Too many dudes.
Well, it was when they had Taranto and Hopper, right?
Too many dudes.
Yeah.
But look,
I think I love them both, but I think Cornelio would be, if they had Cornelio in, I'd be like, absolute certainties can't lose because I think he adds a bit more in the midfield, whereas Kelly's a bit in and out with where he plays as well.
I think so, but you look at this midfield that's listed here.
Yep.
It's not really inspiring. Tom Green.
He's awesome.
Finn Callahan, Toby Bedford.
Bedford will go to Will Day.
Bedford's tagging Will Day. Finn Callahan had footy on a string last week.
And don't underestimate James Peatling, who we just talked about in the wrap-up show. He was awesome last week, playing as a centre bounce mid, so expect big things.
We also forgot to mention the handsome off in the midfield of Port and Sydney of Connor Ozee and Isaac Heaney.
Oh, I think Heaney clears him easily.
Yeah, we got Will Day up against Finn Callahan here in the handsome off too.
Oh, Callahan kills Will Day.
This is a good handsome off. What a great game. We got handsome dudes. We got great footy.
And no crowd.
Yeah. Who's going to win the battle of the high half forwards? I assume you're at this level.
I put this in because I feel like both teams just sort of have those zippy little guys that just get up the ground and work back hard. For GWS, you got Brett Daniels, Toby Bedford. Harvey Thomas has been awesome. And then Hawthorn, you've got Dylan Moore, Ginnivan, Connor McDonald. These guys are like the nucleus of their game plan. So just want to see who wins that battle.
How you feeling as a Hawks fan?
Oh, yeah. I'm a bit nervous on this one. I think Giants, this is the one we drop. Have
you ever been to
I think we played them in the snow game. Remember that one?
Too,
yeah, that was awesome. But yeah, I think this is the game we drop. Giants are hitting form. I think when they hit form, they're going to be a top 4, top 6 team, and I don't think we're at that level yet. So.
Okay.
Yeah, look, I tend to agree. If this was down in Melbourne or even in Tassie, I'd slide towards Hawthorn, but I'll go GWS with a home ground advantage by 20-odd points.
This was the game, the dodgy downfield late free kick that won the game for Hawthorn.
That wasn't dodgy.
Yeah, it was.
Are you kidding me? It was late.
Wasn't a free kick.
It's the literal definition of downfield.
He was in the action as he was kicking. It wasn't a free kick.
Well, even if it is a free kick, not downfield, bring it back.
No, but it was after disposal. It's literally the definition of downfield.
The umpires change that every week, so bring it back.
If they brought it back, Sicily would have kicked it from
Revenge game! The Tsunami is engaged as the Giants win by 2 goals.
2 goals? I'll take it. 2 goals. I think Giants by 3 goals.
Yep. All right, let's get...
Actually, quickly.
Yeah.
Say if Hawthorn win this, right, would that loss against Port Adelaide by a point?
It's cost them top 4.
Would that cost them...
Top 4.
Well, even that could cost them a final spot.
You say that, it's easier to say in hindsight.
I wouldn't have lost our first 5, to be honest. Everyone's last year with Adelaide. Don't lose close games.
I'm more actually annoyed at the Collingwood loss than the Port loss. Well, I'm annoyed at the Port loss where we lost by 5 points. And
I can't remember that.
Connor McDonald had a running set shot at goal at Gather Round to get us the lead.
That's right. I was on the hill. That was great.
The thing with the Port loss is it's easy to say this in hindsight, but if we had won that, I don't know if we would treat the weeks after that with the same intent and the same willingness to attack. After that game, we were like, fourth quarter, we got to keep attacking.
Yeah.
And there's been games where teams have come back and we've gone, no crap.
Like
we've got to keep
Freo
going
and
here.
GWS, they could have easily flipped as well. So.
Yeah.
Look, percentage is going to be crucial. So as long as they don't
Get smashed.
Last 2
Get
weeks
smashed.
have been good for percentage.
Don't get hammered.
Yeah.
Don't have a repeat of the Geelong game.
All right.
Yes.
I know why Marcus was avoiding it because the next game is at the MCG, 3:20 p.m. as the Essendon Bomb Rays take on Flagmantle. -9.5 for Flagmantle. Let's just get to the ins and outs quickly. In come Kelly, Hobbs, Bryan, Davey Jr., Roberts. Out go Ridley with a hip. Archie Perkins has been dropped. For Freo, Nat Fyfe has been dropped through suspension. Remember, extended benches. Erasmus comes in. Fremantle fans have been calling for this, along with Aridi, Simpson, and Will Brodie. What did I say? The offense here for Essendon, 83 points. They allow in about 88. Freo have kicking 87, and they're the second best defense in the comp, bang on 74. Freo have won their last 2 meetings by over 40 points. They're 4-2 of the last 3 years of the MCG. This is great. Marcus, you're the Essendon fan. How are you feeling?
How you feeling?
Well, this just sums up how I'm feeling. This is terrible.
He's ripped
What's he
it.
doing?
We gotta rip the shirt.
Oh, is
If
he
you
gonna
can't do
rip
it, that's even funny. Oh,
Oh!
so not don the
That's how I
sash,
feel.
rip the sash.
Rip the sash.
Rip the sash.
He's given up.
That's how I feel as a Dons fan.
He's just ripped
Wow,
up the
I
Mark
feel like-
Taylor Fujitsu
I feel
airline.
like all the Essendon players that played last week should offer refunds from their salary to the member-going fans that went to that game.
Did you go?
No, I was away.
But
I remember, but I was away for a long weekend.
He's torn the jumper.
He's torn the jumper. I've had enough. I've had enough, Leo.
So take us through last week. I know, we joke on the show about Essendon, but you're an Essendon fan, so you're living it.
Yeah, it's so I'm surprised there's only 2 changes here. I would have liked to have seen a lot more.
Only one force changed.
Only
Yeah.
one force
And
change.
it's Archie Perkins.
And he was the sub.
it's not like it's Dyson Heppel, Stringer, 2 meter Peter.
Yeah,
who
I don't
is
know.
on the extended bench? You got Peter Wright there. Heppel is on the bench as well. They could come out, but
Look, I
hopefully
think-
a few more than 2 changes.
I think I wouldn't. I think Menzies would be dropped as well.
Oh yeah,
I think
he
Jai
was
Menzies would
very
go.
poor. Yeah.
Peter Wright's definitely a chance as well. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Draper, Bryan, Rutt combo.
Yeah.
It's got to happen.
And I think Alwyn David Jr. has got to play for a bit of forward pressure
Yeah.
because it's been absolutely
How come
non-existent.
he can't get a game and how come Sardis can't get a game?
Yeah, Sardis not even in.
Sardis,
Hobbs in
I can
first.
imagine.
I can't wait till Sardis
He's made a
requests a
lot
trade
of
at the end of the year.
He's made a lot of mistakes in the ones when he's played.
Yeah, at least he's trying.
I get that, but we've got players like Hobbs who's obviously come in as well. We just got too many dudes.
There
midfield
are
dudes.
too many dudes, aren't there? Like in the midfield.
And then we're
Sardis-
either way too tall, way too small.
Sardis should just go to West Coast. He and
No,
Harley
why would he
Reid
go to West Coast for?
because he can play alongside Harley Reid. It's gonna be awesome.
I would
Give it a
like to see
last.
Archie Roberts get given a go. In the
Yeah.
VFL, he's been killing it all year.
Yep.
He's getting like 30 and a goal every
Yes.
game.
I was at Essendon's VFL game last week, and he was very impressive in the wet. Just always gives it a go.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does.
Answer the big question. Will this result be a part of the Brad Scott process?
I just put that in because I thought it was funny.
The big question is, Freo the real deal or Essendon frauds? Yes.
Yes to both.
Yes and yes.
Because this result, if Fremantle come across and win, they win at the MCG. They beat Essendon in a game that Essendon absolutely must win. Because if this is the game that if Essendon lose, I think they're absolutely cooked. Because who have you got next week? The Bombers?
We got Gold Coast.
So Gold
At
Coast next
home,
week
at
at home. But that's what I mean. Like,
Yeah.
you're probably going to win that. Then you've got the Swans.
Yeah, and then Brisbane.
And yeah,
At
so
the
you're
Gabba.
probably, you need to win this game to at least give yourself a chance because then at least if you drop the Sydney game, okay, and if you drop the Brisbane game, you still might be alive. But if you drop this, you're probably only starting favourite against Gold Coast.
I think we said the same last week, though, that they had to win against the Saints. And
I'm not even looking ahead
you
to the
can't.
finals.
You
no,
can't.
I just want to see. I just want to see us, put it up to Fremantle.
Are you going to run a tag
Make a
on
game of
Caleb
this.
Sarong or Brayshaw?
you don't tag, though.
That's what I mean.
Or Sam Durham tagged Bontempelli at the beginning of the
I
year.
do like Durham.
But
Durham
I
and
don't-
Caldwell.
I
being
think you
awesome.
need Durham's burst from the stoppage and sort of brute
toughness,
nature
yeah.
in that midfield. So I don't think we'll tag,
Yeah.
which I don't hate either. But yeah, I just want to see a game. I don't want to see a blowout. I don't want it like last year when we got smashed against Collingwood, thumped against GWS.
Yeah, that
Towards the end of the
GWS game was
season.
wild.
We just need to, show something.
Yeah, a bit of
Show
fight.
something.
Yeah.
And take some momentum into next year, which hopefully will be better.
Next year, you mean September?
Yeah, that's my
Tips. Tips.
Essendon win by 9 points. I reckon
Yeah.
this is the game they just... Freo, just drop it. Why
What are
not?
you doing?
I don't know what I'm doing. I just have a feeling. You know when you have a feeling when you're tipping and you just you got to follow it.
I've seen this.
You got a vibe.
I've got a
seen this
vibe.
This is pure vibe.
This is a vibe.
I've seen this club for many, many, many years,
Yep.
and I give us a very slim chance. I don't know how we're Fremantle were 9-point favourites because I think Freo win this by 5 goals.
Yeah.
I've literally written Freo by 5 goals.
Yeah, there you go.
Final game of the weekend, Marvel Stadium 4:40. So that's great. You got a game kicking off at the MCG at 3:20 and one at Marvel at 4:40. Great stuff, AFL. That's awesome. St Kilda host Brisbane, who are only 10.5-point favourites. Over-under's 166.5. Given last week, this could fly over.
Yep.
St Kilda's offense is 75 points. The defense is 74.7. Brisbane, third best offense in the comp, 93.5, and fifth best defense at 78 points. Brisbane have won the last 8 games they played in this year, and they've won their last 5 against the Saints. Importantly, St Kilda hit 100 last time these two teams played at the Gabba earlier this year.
They did.
That game was weird.
Yeah, that was very weird.
Ins and outs for this game, of course, extended benches. Harris Andrews comes as well as Madden, Fort, and Brucey Revel. Connor McKenna's been dropped. Some nice ins here for St Kilda. The Pooh is in.
Nice.
Paddy Dow, Campbell, and McLennan. Out goes Hunter Clark, who was injured, but the Pooh is a big
a good in. I like
This is a
that.
good game. Good game to finish off the round, which is weird saying this about St Kilda.
They've hit a bit of form. I think their defense will keep them in it, like it always does. Just be enough, whether or not their offense will have enough for the Lions. Yeah.
Yeah, Brisbane have got a good recent record. They won the last 5.
They've got a good record at Marvel as well.
Yep.
So,
Apart from the Hawks game this year, they lost.
but that's one. Other than that, so Brisbane coming off a Q Clash win. Are we expecting them just to keep winning, or is there going to be a blip at some point where they do have to drop something because they got up for the Swans game, they got up for the Q Clash? Maybe this is that random one they drop before they go bang, bang, bang. Because they got 2 more games at the Gabba, I think.
Yeah, I think I'm leaning that way. I think there might be a little blip in the radar just before finals. And I think the Saints, sneaky chance here.
Yeah, and this game, like if Brisbane win this one, lose this one, sorry. The machinations on the ladder are absolutely fascinating because you've got a bunch of teams, you've got Freo and Brisbane on 12, 6 and 1, and then you've got 4 teams on 12 and 7.
Yeah.
Obviously, they're not all going to be there because Port Adelaide play the Swans, so Brisbane could either be first or they could somehow be down towards 5th by the end of the weekend. So there is a lot happening
There's
here.
a big queue in for Brisbane spot, isn't there?
That's it. So this is like, if Fremantle win this, like we expect Fremantle to, they could jump up into second quite clearly. So Brisbane, again, it sounds silly, there's so many games, but this is another must win for Brisbane just to bank it to stay second, because if they have to travel first week of the finals, the wheels could fall off.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, look, I think they're a lock to make the top 4. I don't really see them having a blip in the road. And although St Kilda, look, they were good, but how much was that Saints being great and Essendon just being absolutely terrible?
If results go Hawthorn's way, they could be 4th at the end of the weekend.
Alex.
Just throwing it out there.
But I think Brisbane win this, and I think, 4 or 5 goals in a sort of semi-low scoring affair.
I'm waiting for Ross just to see these clamps that I use every goddamn day of my goddamn life. St Kilda by 4 points.
I like it. I've gone Saints by 11. I think, I just like
Weird vibes. Weird vibes.
Last week they had a good spread of goal kickers, and I reckon Cooper Sharman might back it up with a
Cooper. I am Nick Rewalt reincarnated Sharman.
You've got Harris Andrews coming back,
and you've got Mateus, Lenny Hayes, Philippou.
Yeah, Lenny Hayes, Lee Montagna,
Robert Harvey,
and Brendan Goddard. Yeah, Philippou. This is going to be great. So the big question of this is, can the Saints back it up? Because if they played the football they did last week and the way that they played against the Swans,
every chance.
Great. If they play the way they did against Adelaide, they'll get beaten by 100 points.
Yeah, that's fair. I've actually forgot about that Adelaide
But their
game.
defense, like St Kilda's defense, is frustratingly good.
It is
because Callum Wilkie's just there, just clunk.
When you go up against them, you're just like, I just want
Doesn't
to
lose a
sneak.
one-on-one.
Stop kicking it in the air near them, because him and Dougal Howard take intercepts.
Yeah,
it's not that hard.
And they know how to play Marvel with their defense as well. So.
They'll clog up, like they'll run a tag on Zorko for sure, and they'll clog up the corridor. Because watch what they did against the Swans. They'll leave a little chip kick 15 metres in front of them, but they'll clog up the space.
Yeah, absolutely.
God.
They're also smart enough to stop the chip kick as well, which is what they did to the Dons last week.
And they did that to the Swans.
They can be very well drilled.
So you're tipping Brisbane?
Yep.
All right, big calls for the weekend ahead, Leo.
Josh Tracy kicks 5 against the Bombers off a fresh contract. Signed till 2030. I just think he'll tear up Ben Mackay Sunday Arvo, and he's a big, strong unit, and I reckon he's a good kick for goal too. So I reckon he'll slot 5. Why not?
Marcus.
I'm going another goal kicker here, and I said West Coast were going to beat Gold Coast, and it's going to be the back of Jake Waterman kicking 6 majors
on Sam Collins.
It's happening. It's happening.
Cool.
Our man Cheeks keeps Zach Butters to 15 disposals.
15.
Ooh.
Now that is a big call.
Cheeks. Get it done, Cheeks.
He might have 15 in the first quarter. Well, what if he goes to Rosie?
Then I'm screwed. Then I'm relying on Taylor Adams. Keep an eye on. We've got the Tsunami up against the Hawkball. That game's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
I can't wait. Also, keep an eye on whatever the bloody hell Essendon do, because who knows? It's one of those things. It's like a car crash when you see it coming.
Yeah.
You're just watching it because you're morbidly fascinated by it.
Yeah, no, literally.
Yeah,
It's
no,
a pretty,
I can't
pretty
say
good
that for me.
comparison.
No.
The cracks at Carlton, can they overcome Collingwood in such a big occasion? 95,000 at the G. Keep an eye on just the Swans and Port.
Yeah.
We've talked it out. And importantly, this is the big one, because if there's some blowouts this weekend, keep an eye on the ladder and the live percentage changes
Yes.
throughout the weekend. So for teams sort of like Footscray, we call them the Western Bulldogs. They are Footscray this weekend. Stats guy, you're stuffed up. You think for Footscray, Brisbane and Sydney, they're good.
Yep.
Swans
Even
136.
Freo, right?
Swans 136, Brisbane 120, Freo 117, but then it's Carlton 112, 112.9, 111.6 for GWS, 109.1 for Geelong, Port Adelaide in danger 106.7, Footscray basically 120, Hawkball 104, the Bomb Rays 95.
I think I read a stat somewhere.
So
This
if
is
Port Adelaide get beaten 80 to 30, that's bad.
That is very bad.
Yeah.
I think 14 teams have a percentage above 100
Really?
at this point of the
Because
season.
Adelaide and Saints do.
Yeah,
don't they?
they've got
Gold
somehow
Coast do,
Adelaide's are
Collingwood
still
do,
above.
Melbourne do.
So there's 4 teams.
How do Melbourne have it? That's crazy.
So there's 4 teams: Essendon, West Coast, North Melbourne, Richmond. That feels about right.
Yeah.
SuperCoach vibes, thoughts, processes. Leo, you've coming off about 26 million points last week. What are you doing?
Yeah, so I think I'm copying Marcus
Oh,
and vice captaining Flanders and captaining Sheasel against Richmond. No trades. I've got the one trade left. 2 boosts still in my locker. But
That'll come in handy.
one trade left, and I'm just going to save it until there's like a big injury or something. Yeah.
Marcus, you're the resident draft king.
Yeah, well, look, are we talking about trades in or
Or just what are you doing?
draft wise? Look, I can't really make too many changes, but I'm gonna gamble on Ollie Dempsey in the forward line for a
that's a
draft.
big gamble.
Draft. I gambled on him last week, provided the goods, scored 108 with a 74 average.
Yep.
So I'll look to do the same in draft, but classic, same as Leo.
So
Nice.
I am going a vice captain of the cheese ball into the
Nice.
captain of Caleb Sarong because Essendon don't run a tag.
Yeah, I love that.
So, and I'm probably going to, so I've got loopholes all over the joint. There could be a late change to someone like Tristan Cherry up against Nank. Well, maybe not that. Maybe Grundy up against Sweet could be a play that I'm looking at here. So, a lot of fascinating stuff going on this weekend because, well, that'll do it here for AFL Today. We'll be back on Sunday. I'll be back. Leo, you? No?
Potentially.
Potentially. Marcus, I don't know.
One of Marcus and I will be
Yeah,
back.
Yes.
Stats guy. I honestly don't know when Jim's coming back.
Yeah.
We probably should have got an email about
Probably.
that. Because I've been in charge and I've been running around like a stressed idiot. for
We
the
don't
last
know what
4
day
Yeah,
it
I've
is.
heard
at
you've
the
been a big
moment.
stress head.
Mate, you have no idea what's going
You
on.
need a stress ball.
I do.
Just grab the footy. Just
Isaac in his head.
just rub it.
Yeah.
Somehow I do not think that bodes well.
I'm about to go to Winston Churchill Steakhouse for dinner. So
Oh, lovely.
really looking forward to
Gonna
that.
get a steak review?
Oh, it'll get a steak review.
Yeah,
it's,
nice.
it's the number 2 ranked steakhouse in Australia.
Oh,
AD's food review.
AD, yeah.
Where's the channel coming out?
Yeah, don't worry.
AD today.
Yeah, AD today. Anyway, thanks to you, Leo. Thanks to you, Marcus.
Thank you.
Remember to make sure to smash a like across AFL Today, Cricket Today, Football Today, NBA Australia, NFL Australia. Go to punters.com.au because hold on, tickets still on hiatus. We did drop a couple of punters previews today if you're into your horsey stuff. So a couple of bets there at Rosehill and Flemington this weekend. Like and subscribe on YouTube, please. Get around Facebook, which is Sports Today Show. Instagram, AFL Today AU. TikTok, AFL Today AU. Also, AFLW season is coming up. So check out AFLW Today across all of those social platforms.
Cheeky plug.
We have some fun stuff coming your way in the next couple of weeks. The shows are locked and loaded. I'm not going to tell you what you do.
Special co-host.
Other than Stats Guy's having a kick with his hero on Monday.
Me?
No, not you. You're not. He's not. You're not his hero. I don't know who his hero is. Actually, I do know.
should know.
I know exactly who his hero is. You can't wait to see that because I'm excited for it. Anyway, get around him like I don't know, Kane Corns and a really bad take. I think that.
Nah, he's been all right this year. But yeah.
He said for Hawthorn to lean into the head high tackles this week.
Yeah, why not?
That's not a great take. Anyway, that'll do. Shout out to Gerard behind the camera. We'll catch you later this week for more AFL Today. Till then, look after yourselves. And remember, footy's back!
If you like this show, make sure you check out all the other shows on the Sports Today Network, the AFL Today Show to the Cricket Today podcast, the Football Today podcast, as well as NBA Australia and NFL Australia. With Sports Today, your sporting needs have never been easier to cover.